The new supreme leader of Iran, Mojtaba Khamenei, has just made a rare statement trying to show unity within the regime. But the response has already been exposed. It came right after Donald Trump said that the Iranian leadership is in chaos, with no clear command and fighting internally over who holds power. This Friday, April 24, 2026, the message that came out of Tehran sounded less like a show of strength and more like an urgent attempt to put out a fire that has already gotten out of control. Trump stated that Iran is divided from within. According to him, the Iranian leaders are fighting like cats and dogs to see who really runs the regime. I'll tell you all about it in a moment, but now you'll want to be subscribed to the channel to stay well informed. Real-time information with the best journalistic quality is coming up. Milson Alves, where credibility is the standard. The new supreme leader of Iran responded through a rare public statement released in an official communiqué and echoed by the Iranian state media, trying to deny Donald Trump's interpretation of chaos within the regime's leadership. He stated that thanks to internal unity, the fracture would have occurred in the enemy's camp, not within Iran, and said that Iranian cohesion would be stronger and firmer. He also accused foreign operatives and operations of trying to undermine national security and the minds of the population, calling for vigilance so that these attempts would not progress. But the reaction sounded defensive. Instead of presenting a concrete solution to the crisis, he only tried to prove that the regime remains united precisely at the moment when Trump was saying that the Iranian leaders are fighting for control. The statement came at a time when Washington is maintaining military pressure, imposing a naval blockade, and negotiations with Tehran are stalled. The American president said that he is in no hurry to reach an agreement because, in his view, time is running against Iran, not against the United States. But the point that stands out is exactly this: when a regime needs to rush to say that it is united, amid accusations of division, naval blockade, economic pressure, and weakened leadership, the signal sent to the world is not one of calm, but of concern. And that's where Trump's statement gains strength, because if the Iranian leadership were secure, maybe it wouldn't need such a rare symbolic declaration filled with phrases of resistance. Khamenei's message tried to show control, but ended up revealing that the narrative of chaos deeply bothered Tehran. The response was weak because it didn't bring a concrete solution, didn't announce any military progress, didn't show that a deal had been finalized, and didn't present an economic way out. It only called for unity, while the crisis spreads on several fronts. At sea, the United States Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth stated that the American blockade against Iran is becoming global. He said that no one leaves the Strait of Hormuz for any destination in the world without the permission of the United States Navy. The statement shows that Washington is not just pressuring Tehran with words. It is blocking maritime traffic connected to the Iranian regime and increasing the cost of each day without an agreement. According to information released in Washington, 34 ships have already been forced to change their route since the beginning of the blockade. General Duncan stated that the operation applies to vessels of any nationality that are going to Iranian ports or leaving Iranian territory. This turns the crisis into something bigger than a local military dispute. Now any company, any route, and any cargo linked to Iran can become a target for inspection, interception, or direct pressure. Meanwhile, diplomacy is going around in circles. The Iranian Foreign Minister, Abbas Araghchi, has started a trip that includes Islamabad, Muscat, and Moscow. The visit to Islamabad draws attention because Pakistan is emerging as a possible venue for the resumption of talks between Tehran and Washington. But so far, there is no clear agreement nor a firm return to the table. Reuters itself reported that the talks may resume, but the previous round, expected for this week, ended up not happening. That's another sign of weakness. Iran talks about unity, but it needs to look for solutions in several capitals at the same time. It goes to Pakistan, passes through Oman, seeks out Moscow, and tries to maintain the appearance of resistance. But meanwhile, the United States maintains the blockade, keeps up military pressure, and makes it clear that they will not accept a rushed agreement just to save Tehran's face. On the other hand, Khamenei's statement tried to speak to the domestic audience. He said that unity needs to be protected and that enemy media tries to target the minds and psychological state of the population. This statement reveals political fear. The regime knows that the information war carries weight. It knows that the population feels the impact of the blockade, the instability, the loss of confidence, and the economic pressure. When the supreme leader talks about the minds of the people, he is admitting that the battlefield is not only at sea or in the sky. It's within Iranian society itself, and that difference is decisive. Strong regimes don't need to keep repeating that they are united. Regimes under pressure do that all the time. The situation becomes even more delicate because Trump also linked the Iranian political crisis to the regime's infrastructure. He said that Iran could face collapse if it can't get its oil moving. Oil is Tehran's economic lifeline. Without exports, without ships moving safely, and without revenues coming in at a normal pace, the regime loses money, loses bargaining power, and loses the ability to support its allies. This is the most sensitive point. Iran has always used regional networks, armed groups, and indirect pressure to project power. But this structure depends on money, logistics, and command. If the leadership is divided and the economic flow is blocked, the machine loses strength. The American blockade targets exactly that, not just ships, but the regime's ability to finance its influence. In the same scenario, Israel and Lebanon had a ceasefire for 3 more weeks, according to Trump. He said he believes the leaders of both sides can meet in Washington. This move also puts pressure on Iran because Hezbollah in Lebanon is one of Iran's main instruments of influence in the region. If the Lebanese front enters negotiations, Tehran loses ground to maintain tension as a political tool. Mojtaba Khamenei assumed leadership amid a crisis. His rare statement shows that he needs to prove his authority right from the start. But authority is not proven with words alone. If the regime doesn't control the sea, doesn't get the oil moving, doesn't make deals, and doesn't show clear internal command, the speech becomes just an attempt to keep up appearances. The weakness of the Iranian response lies precisely in the contrast. That doesn't mean Iran isn't capable of causing problems. The regime still has allies, vessels, regional influence, and the power to create instability through the terrorist groups that support it. But the issue here is different. The ability to cause trouble is not the same as strategic control. Trump showed that there is chaos in the Iranian leadership, and Tehran's haste to deny this chaos ended up giving more weight to the accusation. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and at the end, check out the comments so you can be even more engaged with Milson Alves's community.